the world's greatest podcast in America. John Reed here in Tennessee. Cody McClure out there in Austin, Texas. Cody, happy Monday to you, my friend.
Happy Monday, John. It's good to be here. Good to be here. How you doing?
I am solid, just counting down the days, counting down the minutes, the hours until my trip to Detroit.
You look solid.
Solid as a rock.
Like a rock, like Bob Seger said. Speaking of Detroit, Bob Seger, great music town. Great music town. From rock and roll to soul, Motown to hip hop. I mean, they got it all, Detroit.
Don't forget Kid Rock, whatever his genre is. You didn't mention his genre.
Yeah, whatever he is. Country, rock, rap rock. Yeah, I mean, Detroit. I mean, it's. I would want to check out some of the music stuff while I was there. You said you're going to a museum, right?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to some of the museums and stuff when I'm in Detroit.
Who are your top 5 Detroit artists?
My top 5 Detroit artists, in no particular order: Obi Trice, Eminem, Bizarre, Kid Rock, and Big Sean.
Okay, yeah, that's.
What about you?
It's a good list. Mine would be slightly different, but regardless, good music town. And I hope you have a good trip there. You know, people talk shit about Detroit going back some years ago, but I think it's actually having a resurgence.
Well, the fact you have to say it's having a resurgence would concede that it used to be shit, probably.
I think it had its glory days back in the day, and then it had a period of devastation. And, you know, there was the whole thing with the water. You couldn't drink. I mean, I know that was in Flint, Michigan, but still yet, just that area in general. And then I think around 2016, they started rebuilding. I think it's actually kind of a good place to go now. I don't know. I've heard that. Could be wrong.
I'll let you know.
You might get shot. I don't know.
Well, yeah, maybe, possibly, although you can get shot anywhere, you know. Yeah. Knoxville's a good city, but you almost got shot here, so it could happen to you anywhere.
Ain't that the truth?
Amen to that, brother, but I'm excited to go there, go watch some basketball, and surely this will be the time that my team comes through for me.
You want to win both games? Like, when you say come through, is that the goal?
Yeah, win both.
If you only win the first one, is that a success or no?
If we only win the first one, I will probably still look back on the trip fondly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If I go there and lose the first one, I'll be like, what the fuck is wrong with me? But if we win both, yeah, I'll be over the moon and headed to Arizona. But if we go 1-1, you could probably leave, at least looking back on it. At the moment, it'll suck. It'll be a very terrible plane ride home, and it'll be a frustrating loss either to that big freak Zach Edey or to Gonzaga, and either one will hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe in the years following, I can think about at least getting to the Elite Eight.
You know,
Actually, no. Now that I talk to it, you gotta win both of them. Gotta go 2-0.
You can't lose to Purdue.
Nah. That'll just be so infuriating.
It'll be a successful season, though, right?
Successful season, sure, yeah, for sure. I'm just talking about for my personal happiness.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably going to need to win a national championship.
A Final Four. Now, I mean, I'll still be sad whenever the season ends, but a Final Four would make me plenty happy. I was adding up my future bets that I've placed throughout the year, and got a pretty big chunk on Tennessee's success over the next couple of games. A lot of money riding on these next couple games.
You reinvested from the previous winnings then, I guess.
Yeah, I've kept some previous winnings rolling over, but also I've just put bets throughout the year on Tennessee to go and win it all. Just whenever it's, longer odds, but yeah, as it's progressed, it's starting to pile up. I was talking about that with my friend who then broke this, who dropped this bomb on me. Let me just read you this text that I got just before we came on. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. I had a dream. Actually, I also had a really bad dream 2 nights ago where you died at the Final Four. Anyway, can you put $640 for me on Tennessee to make the Final Four? I will cash app you today. At least that way it'll pay for the Elite Eight game and maybe a Final Four game.
Wow. You had a dream you died at the Final Four.
And then said, anyway, hyphen, and then started a new paragraph and asked for a favor.
Anyway, secondly, would you take that for a national championship?
For me dying? No.
What I mean, for the joy of everyone else, though, to win the national championship.
No, I'm not Jesus Christ.
You would not sacrifice your life?
No, I'm not Jesus Christ.
So your friend wants to put $640 down.
Yeah, that way.
It
pays 2 to 1. That way, yeah. Then maybe he says he could, then take that and pay for a trip to the Final Four.
Some of you folks are some real big spenders, I tell you. John Reed, you are a rambling, gambling man, as Bob Seger once said.
Does everyone get to know that me dying is the reason we won the national championship?
Yeah, you get to be immortalized. You're a martyr. Some would say bigger than Jesus Christ.
I don't think people would say that.
Some would say that. People who don't believe in his with a capital H, whatever it is, his deity, his significance. I don't know. Some people believe that he exists, but he wasn't that significant.
It would be pretty cool to be like, oh, wow, this guy gave his life for a championship. But in this scenario, to even consider it, it'd have to be like football. They'd be like, yeah, but it was just basketball.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he died for a natty, but it was just basketball. Kind of wish he'd have held out for a football championship.
I don't know. That'd be kind of tough. You would be a legend. I mean, you'd forever be cemented as a legend, but you wouldn't get to enjoy it because obviously you'd be dead. So is it worth it? I don't know about that. Still, yeah.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say either way, it would not be worth it.
Either way, good to win the second round game. We beat the Texans. That was a hell of a game. Missed, what did we miss? 22 threes? 23? So it was a lot.
Doesn't matter, still won.
Yeah, we won the game. I watched the game at a Texas bar, place called The Tavern. Met a nice couple there. Shout out to Mario and Monica.
Why do you keep hanging out with couples?
That's just who was there at the bar. They sat right next to me, and it was one of those deals where I was on the end of the bar, so I was and the bar it made an L shape,
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm at the end, and I'm looking straight ahead, and so they're literally right on me. This woman is we're like this. See, this is me in this scenario, and she's facing this way, and my TV's up this way.
That doesn't look as much of an L as it does just half of a square.
Yeah, it's half a square. It's a corner.
Yeah, when I think of L, I think of just a smaller line. Then you're doing 2 equal size lines, and
okay, half a square. It's call it what you will. This is the end of the bar. I'm on one corner.
Yeah. See, I can make a 90-degree angle right there.
A 90-degree angle. That's what it is. It's not. It's not obtuse. It's not acute. It's just boom.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so it was impossible because I had to basically look over to her head to see my TV. So it was impossible not to talk to these people. And so I made a couple friends. I got to the bar early so that I could post up in the spot I wanted because I knew that the place would be full, and it was full of Texas fans. I had to post up, had to box out, had to really box out like that buffalo from the commercial. And
Were you wearing Tennessee orange?
no, I was wearing sorta.
Wow.
Sorta. Do you count the Talk Sports?
Wow.
The Talk Sports shirt that
Yeah.
it's got
No,
Tennessee orange on it.
I don't count that. Wow, what a pussy. All that Tennessee gear. You didn't even have your hat on?
No, because I showered that day.
So you went to the bar afraid to rep your team.
No, I'm not one of these people that has to do that. I didn't have many clothes clean. I had to do laundry yesterday.
I don't buy that because your entire wardrobe is like 80% Tennessee stuff. You had to go out of your way not to wear the Tennessee stuff.
Well, you may not buy it, but that's the truth. It's the truth. I didn't have anything clean. I didn't have a good shirt clean.
You could have at least thrown the hat on.
I mean, the Talk Sports shirt has Tennessee orange on it.
Those people aren't going to associate that. They're not going to know that.
That's true. It's kind of borderline. Like it's kind of straddling the fence.
Wow.
I didn't want to get beat up. I don't have any friends here.
So it was a conscious decision.
So anyway, now I did tell the couple though, because we became friendly. I did tell the couple that I was a Tennessee fan. I said I'm trying to keep it kind of low key in here, but I'm rooting for the other team. And
yo, this motherfucker's not one of us. He said he's from Tennessee.
Yeah. They were nice. The woman was a teacher. She reminded me a strange amount of my sister, because my sister's a teacher, and she looked like a brown version of my sister. They had some Native American or something, that maybe a little Hispanic. I don't know exactly what race they were, but
did you find yourself attracted to her?
No. Although at one point the woman said something about like foreigners, like something about these foreigners, and I was like, what's going on here? Like, because they're definitely not just like they're not whites, But I don't know.
You're going to say regular Americans?
I was going to say regular whites, but I don't know if they were Hispanic or if they were, because she said something else about like Native American, like she had so I think they might have been like.
She might have been talking about you.
These fucking foreigners. Yeah, I mean, honestly.
She might have been talking about you, a foreigner coming to Texas, and also a foreigner that came on her people's land hundreds of years ago. You might be the foreigner to her, buddy.
Yeah,
you need to be careful talking to her about being a foreigner, as if every brown person can't be a true American in Cody's eyes.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
that's what it sounds like. You said a regular white, as if non-whites are not locals.
What I mean by that is it's usually whites who are talking about foreigners.
No, this is what I've been trying to get through your head for the last couple of years.
Yeah, you've been telling me that Mexicans don't want Mexicans or people that are already here don't want other people crossing. Yeah.
I've been telling you about that. Like I got family members that are like that are Hispanic, but they have been here either long enough or just full on citizens that have been here for generations, and they're Trumpers. They want border protection. They don't want their kind or whatever coming across the wrong way. So I've been telling you about that. So maybe that's what was happening there.
Yeah, but I deal in generalities and stereotypes, so I just think about whites mostly, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, nice couple, very nice folks. Were
they Texas fans?
Yeah, they were Texas fans, so they weren't happy with the result, but there were a lot of frat dudes, that brand of fan in there, and so every time Texas would do something good, they would cheer and high five, and, yeah, Longhorns. And it was enjoyable for me when we won, just seeing the sad faces.
Were you sitting there with your hands under the bar with the horns down, scared to pick them up, scared to pick your elbows up, but you had it down there at your knees, horns down? And
I mean, I guess I missed a content opportunity. If I was like a content guy, I could have definitely live streamed and made some noise in there and probably gotten beat up. But
I would have
I
hated to have
didn't.
seen a story about you getting your ass whipped in a Texas bar fight.
Yeah, it would have. I don't know how many of them it would have taken to whip my ass, but I knew how many they were going to use, so I
Now, were
didn't
you
bother.
drinking?
No, I wasn't drinking. I really wanted to drink though, because this was like it was called the Tavern, which is that's my kind of joint. So I didn't drink. I can't drink here until I get a place closer into the city.
Okay, so you were in Austin.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Oh, okay.
can't. Where I live out here, like I can't drink. I mean, unless I drink and drive, but I think I've got a headlight out, so I don't really want to drink and drive.
You ain't got no
And
friends there. You don't need to end up in jail somewhere with no friends to come bail you out.
exactly. And 30-year-old me looks at that way.
That's good.
Logically. If I was
Growth.
20, if I was 22, I would just, fuck it.
And
But
all the innocent people on the road and all that too. But yeah, like you just
oh
don't want
yeah,
to end up
sure.
in just don't want to end up in jail.
Yeah, mainly I'm just thinking about myself here, but
Well,
and then
did they look big sad? Did they look very sad when they were leaving?
the couple or just the general.
Everyone in the bar.
The frat dudes definitely looked sad. The couple was cool. They were casuals. They're like, yes, we pulled for Texas, but whatever.
You don't have to do the accent.
Only when the chief, uh, I don't make fun of Native Americans. I don't know. It was a good game though. I was glad that we won. Actually, it was not a good game. It was a terrible game. I was just glad we won. But one of the worst basketball games I've ever seen.
Don't care.
And
Still beat.
I listened to the voluntary reaction after too, and the
Of
people
course, you
that
love Russell and Bear.
well, it's just it was on, and so like
Sure.
I don't know, but the people that were calling
It was
into
just
that were
on, he
so
says.
yeah
As if it just found his way onto his radio in his car. As if I was just driving around, it was on. I listened to it.
yeah.
As
I
if you
mean,
didn't have
it
to
was
seek it
just
out.
no, it was just on. It's on like when you're listening to you're listening to the radio and Night Moves comes on. Night Moves by Bob Seger. It's just on. It's one of those songs
No, this is like
that
going
you
to
just
Spotify and playing Night Moves.
yeah. I mean, it's just I guess I get the notification. I guess when they go
Yeah.
live. So
No, that's fine. You just third straight show you've talked about your love for Russell. I get it. Anyways, what was happening on voluntary reaction?
I didn't mention Russell. I was going to mention the callers.
I could get him to do this podcast with you if you want.
I just thought it was kind of weird how everybody's like. I mean, everybody was positive, and I don't want to be a negative guy, but they were acting like that was our bad game of the tournament. They're like, well, we had our cold spurt where we couldn't hit any shots and we weren't making anything, and we still won. We still won, and now we've gotten over that hurdle. And I'm just like, that could happen again. Like, you got to be better than that. But I don't know.
The idea is if it happens again, you win ugly, it's fun. I mean, I understand what you're saying in terms of, well, we got to get better and play better moving forward. That's fun. But also, like, those games are so hard to win. And in the past, we'd have lost those games. I mean, we did lose that game to Michigan a couple years ago. You lost it last year to FAU. So I'm not going to be mad that we won one like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not mad that we won. I just
I'm going to celebrate, like, surviving. They call it survive in advance. And
that's
I'll
right.
sign up. I'll sign up for 3 more of those if they're really ugly, as long as we win them. 4 of them, even. You can win a national championship that way, and I don't care. Whatever.
That's the scary thing about being in the position we are now. Like, every game is going to be a just knockdown, drag out, dogfight. Like, nothing's going to be easy, But that's what you want. So
At the risk of jinxing ourselves, I don't think we'll play another game where we miss 96% of our threes for the first 35 minutes. At one point, we were 1 of 21, which is like 4.6%. So, like,
yeah.
I don't think we're going to replicate that futility.
I mean,
Knock on wood and whatnot. Maybe we can, but so I am going to take that as our bad game. Does that mean we're necessarily going to be back to 40% moving forward? No, but I got a feeling we'll be better than 4.6%.
Yeah, I mean that's close to unbelievably bad. Has anybody?
Plus, I really didn't want to lose to those cocksuckers from Texas either. I wanted Rick Barnes to be able to at least not lose to this school that fired him.
Yeah. I mean that's fair.
Yeah, like if we lose to Creighton, I'll be really disappointed and mad. But at least it's not Texas.
Right, and at least it's not in the first weekend.
Right.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, it'll be disappointing if you lose because you have a team that's Final Four caliber, but it'll be not egregious.
But no, for Texas to fire Rick Barnes and cast him aside and basically leave him for dead. I mean, the career he's had since coming to Tennessee, I mean, I guess he's in what year 9, year 10 now? And he's won, I believe, 8 tournament games to their 5.
He's
had 8 tournament wins to their 5, I believe the stat is. Like, he's had more success than them. They went out and fired another coach that's in the Sweet 16 too, which, you know, I know last year Texas had a good run, so maybe they don't feel this in their soul the way they should, but both Rick Barnes and Shaka Smart are in better positions now moving forward in their careers than Texas's program is. So, like, I think they dropped the ball twice. Not saying they shouldn't have fired Rick Barnes or whatever, but they dropped the ball of Shaka as well. And both Marquette and Tennessee are better suited for success than they are.
Shaka Smart is the coach at Marquette. That's true.
Yeah, and they fired him right after Rick Barnes, and he went on, and he was kind of left for dead too. Or I guess he didn't get fired. He left. He actually just took his ball and went home. He said, hey, I'm out. I'm going to Marquette. I like it better there.
This is only his first Sweet 16, though, since like 2011.
Is that right? Last year his team got really banged up heading into the tournament, and he got sent home early. But still, Marquette was really good last year too.
Yeah, I was just surprised to see that because I watched the end of their game, and I was surprised when they showed that stat that it was his first Sweet 16 as a coach since 2011, and he's always it seems like he's thought of in a higher regard.
Well, he went to the Final Four with VCU, and then went to Texas and didn't have any success there. Which I mean, it was partly Texas getting their comeuppance; they were getting what they deserved, but it just didn't work for whatever reason. Then last year at Marquette, I want to say his team got really banged up coming out of their conference championship that they won, and then I got sent home early.
Yeah, well, it happens. It happens.
Not Tennessee, baby. Second weekend, 2 years in a row for the second time in school history.
Back-to-back Sweet 16s.
First time since 07-08, and that's the only other time in school history it's happened, which is actually kind of fucking mind-blowing when you look and saw it. I think it was our 10th Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
For as good as we felt our program has been, like it's only been to 10 Sweet 16s, it's kind of wild. But that's why I don't take an ugly win for granted.
Yeah, well, I mean, our program's only been good for the last, like since the Pearl era, right? I mean, I know we had good years before. 2000, we made the tournament, 2000 or 99 or something like that.
99, 2000, 2001, you're pretty good. I mean, you had
and then
teams
the Ernie
in
and Bernie show back
right,
in the day,
and you had some All-Americans, and I think Dale Ellis was an All-American. I would have thought maybe he got to the Sweet 16. I don't know if the rest of the team was just shitty. I mean, I know it was for Allen Houston, but
the more surprising thing to me is we've only got one Elite Eight, which is, you've got to. I feel like you got to get that this year. At least get the Elite Eight. You
need to add a number to the Elite Eight banner, and then getting to the Final Four would be really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, enough basketball talk. What are you up to?
It's I'm just hanging out, doing my thing, driving people around. I had an issue with a gas station attendant. I was trying to buy Zen the other day, as I do, and the guy, when I walked in, who was working the counter, the attendant there, he had his fingers in his mouth. And he's like really aggressively chewing on his fingernails. Like, not just like a quick, I got to tear a piece off. But I mean, just like he was anxious, like nervous or something, like just really going at it on his hand. And he's the only one in there. And I need him to use that hand to grab my Zen off of the shelf. And so I just walked up and I was like disgusted, and I'm like, can I get a can of the Zen 6 milligram chill? And he's just looking at me with his fingers in his mouth. And he's like, yeah, I can get that for you. And he was acting all nervous and weird. And I just said, I was like, would you mind washing your hands? And because it was very noticeable how his fingers were all up in his mouth. And he said, I just washed my hands. And I said, no, you just had your fingers in your mouth. I don't know. He may have washed his hands 2 minutes before that, but in this moment, his fingers were all up in his mouth. And he got just like frustrated. And he's just like, oh, fucking shit. Like, I fucking hate this job. But he washed his hands and got my Zen. So, like, I guess he knew that he was making love to his fingers. Like, he gave a little attitude, but, like, he didn't. And I felt weird for even asking that. But at the same time, I didn't want his mouth juices all over my Zen, you know?
I give you credit for saying something. I think if I was going to, go and try to do something with my nasty habit and I was fiending, probably like you were for your Zens,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have risked making that guy mad. I might have just walked out and went to a different store, though, rather than saying anything. I might have just tried that, but I guess you were probably fiending and needed your Zen.
Well, it was late night, and I was out between Austin and where I live, and there's not a lot of options,
What were you going to do if he said no?
I probably would have left at that point or just gotten into some sort of a conflict and then left. I mean, he gave me a little bit of lip, but he washed his hands. So I don't know.
How do you know he washed his hands?
Because they had a sink. I saw him. There's like a sink back there.
I didn't know if he went to the bathroom or whatever.
No, I don't know how good he washed his hands, but at least the water got the mouth juices off. I mean, I still wiped my can down. He's just a nasty looking individual that, I've told you before how it always irks me at the gas station when they finger your can. Like if you get a canned beverage, like a Diet Coke in a can or a Red Bull, and they fucking spin it around and to try to find the barcode. That always grosses me out. I keep sanitizing wipes for that and just wipe the top off. But I didn't have any sanitizing wipes. And
Cody McClure, guy who's shit in someone's shoe, big germaphobe.
I was a kid. Okay.
You were in high school.
Yeah, a kid.
Some of those people in high school get tried as adults.
Yeah, well, not me, I got community service. That was a long time ago, and things have changed since then. I mean, I'm just now it's a different world. I have different priorities. I got deadlines and commitments, and still out there riding the wind, though, as Bob Seger once said.
Enough of the goddamn Bob Seger.
Anyway, so I did some Uber rides over the weekend, and I saw some interesting things. Here's another thing I found interesting. I drove by a fire station and I saw a group of firemen and one firewoman out there washing their ladders. And I was wondering if this is standard practice for fire departments or if they just didn't have anything going on. They were washing their ladders, like had them out on the sidewalk, scrubbing them down. And I'm like, okay, maybe they got like charred. Maybe their ladders, maybe they had a house fire and their ladders got a bunch of that black soot on them or something. I couldn't think of why they would be washing their ladders. How, taxpayer money, they're spending their time out there doing that. Is that what we're paying for? Is that what our local fire heroes are up to?
Well, you also don't know if they're actually paid. They could be volunteer firefighters.
No, they were in the city. They were real firefighters, I think.
I don't know though, like if they're taking care of their equipment and helping prolong the use of the equipment and keeping us from having to buy them new equipment, maybe they save money in the long run. I don't know. I would be nervous that my ladder would be slippery, and then like, what if we got called to action? Then like I'm slipping and sliding on my ladder, just soap and water just all over the place.
I would like to, if any fireman hears this podcast, I would like to know if that's standard practice, which I could probably just Google, but I'd rather have an inside source.
We'd rather hear from the horse's mouth.
As Eminem once said.
Yeah.
But, the gas station guy grossed me out. And another guy that grossed me out is these dudes that want to shake your hand when you're driving them. It's always drunk dudes.
So people get in your back seat and want to shake your hand?
No.
I want to shake your hand.
It's like, that's what I thought of, the guy on the plane. No, it's always drunk dudes in the front. It's never a woman that wants to shake your hand. It's always
do you do it? Do you oblige?
Asshole. Yeah. Like
you're kind of at their mercy.
Well, yeah, and you don't want to get in an argument with a drunk guy.
I'm actually surprised you're letting them sit in the front seat.
I don't like when they sit in the front seat unless they're women, but I have to keep that front seat open in case the women want to sit up there. So sometimes I get a guy, it's a group of 4 people, 3 girls in the back, and of course, Doofus sits up front. So, and he's, how you been tonight? Yeah, good night driving. It's a busy weekend. Hey, my name's Dave.
How long you been driving for?
Yeah, I don't want to shake your hand. There's no telling where that hand's been tonight.
How late you going to stay out tonight? That's usually what I ask them.
How late you going to stay out?
Yeah.
Real original.
Hey, what are your thoughts on Benghazi?
Yeah, there you go.
Because I feel like it's going away. Even though I was promised it ain't going away. I ain't heard much about Benghazi lately.
I hadn't heard much about Benghazi in years.
What would you like to be asked?
By a guy or a girl?
A guy.
What would I like to be asked? Something interesting. What are your favorite cigarette brands? How long do you use a pen before you retire it?
You find that interesting?
I mean, just something that's...
I don't think anybody actually ever retires a pen. I think either it runs out of ink or you lose it.
What do you think lasts longer, a pen or a lighter? If you use them the same amount.
A pen.
A pen?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you use them the same amount, like I could write for probably, 2 days on a pen, just nonstop, 48 hours of just writing.
You'd have to sleep, probably, but...
Yeah, I don't know how many hours. I would feel confident that you could use a pen pretty much for 3 consecutive days. I don't think you could use a lighter nonstop for 3 days.
No, I mean, the flame would burn out eventually.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could use a pen that long either. Nothing worse than when a pen starts going out on you.
Nothing worse?
And you try to do that little thing where you scribble on say, where's the fucking ink? Is there any ink left? And then
you ever lick it?
No.
You don't ever lick the pen? Sometimes that works.
You can be poisoned that way.
Sometimes you got to get a little wet. Sometimes a little dry, you got to get a little wet. Give it a little lick. And then
where'd you learn that?
It's a thing.
I bet you were a lead paint child, weren't you?
There was lead paint in my crib whenever I was an infant, apparently, and they had just painted the room. Actually, I don't think there was lead paint, but they did. My dad always did say they had just painted my room by the time I was born and ready to come home, and that I hated the paint fumes when I was in there. That's why I have to sleep with a fan. That's what he always said.
What's her name?
I didn't have any fans when I was a toddler.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither. I had a girl ask me if I liked Dr. Dre. We were riding around and she the Red Hot Chili Peppers came on. And I don't know how she connected the two, but she's like, "Oh, I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Do you like Dr. Dre?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What's your favorite Dr. Dre song?" I was like, "Oh shit, now I'm on the spot." And I was like, "I just know the hits."
You didn't know?
It's
Did
like,
you have any answers?
yeah, I was like, I like Still Dre. I like Forgot About Dre with Eminem. The Chronic. She's like, "Oh, I fucking love the Chronic." I was like, "Okay, cool." And she said, "Can you play A Person with a Gun?" And I was like, that seems like a weird title for a song. So I got on my Spotify and I typed in A Person with a Gun. And you know the song I'm referring to? I'm sure you do.
No, I mean, I don't think so.
Oh, well, it's actually called a N-word with a gun.
Oh,
But she said a person with a gun because she's like a white girl,
sure. Well,
And
that's good.
and
I give her credit for that.
I literally typed in a person with a gun like a fucking idiot. And I was like, I can't find the song. And so I just handed her my phone. She's like, I'll do it. And so she typed it in and played the song. And I was like, oh, that's why I couldn't find it, because it's not person. And then I got to thinking, I was like, is it racist of her to type that in? Does that count as saying the word like halfway?
No, I don't think so. She went through proper precautions. I mean, who am I to make the final ruling here, of course? But I feel like that's part of the reason why people say that artists shouldn't name songs and pieces of art because it does just lead to it being in the conversation and I guess in the white person's mind. But I'm gonna say she's safe here. But again, I don't get to make the final ruling. But that's how I would vote if I was approached about the subject.
It's like one of my favorite tunes, "Persons in Paris."
Yeah.
Jay-Z and Kanye.
Do you know why it's called that?
So that we have to say it.
No, because they was in Paris.
Yeah. Who was in Paris?
That's what Kanye said. You know why we named it that? Because we was in Paris.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. You got to write about what's in the moment, So anyway,
was this girl by herself listening to Dr. Dre?
No, she had people in the back. She was sitting up front, and she was attractive.
Would you have let an ugly girl touch your phone?
No.
Would you have let a drunk guy touch your phone?
No, probably not. Not unless he was carjacking me. But
pretty girl privilege, man.
Oh yeah, they have so much privilege with me. They can do anything. This girl, if she had been working as the gas station attendant, she could have licked my Zen can too. She could have spit all over it, and I would have been fine with it.
Was the song good?
Yeah, it was a good song. A person with a gun. It was a good song. Not as good as Bob Seger's 1973 hit "Still the Same," but it was pretty good.
What about "Against the Wind"?
I already referenced that one.
Oh, okay.
Try to keep up.
I wasn't sure if that was Bob Seger or not.
I also saw a woman yelling at a dog yesterday when I was doing laundry, because I had so much laundry to do. I had like 3 loads I had to get done, and I had to go to the laundromat again. I think I told you that I don't have laundry at this place.
And this was yesterday, you said?
Yeah. So I had to go out and do my laundry, and this woman was yelling at her dog to get in the back. He had like gotten up in the passenger seat, and she said, "Get in the back. Get in the back of the damn truck. Get in the back. Get in the back." And she just kept yelling at him kind of aggressively, and it was kind of making me mad. Like, should I step in for this dog? I'm like, he doesn't speak English, right? He doesn't know what the fuck you're saying. Eventually, I guess she got him back there, but
I wonder how many people ever hear me yelling at Frank when I'm walking him, because it happens every day.
Yeah, but you don't like yell aggressively. You're not.
No, I do.
Do you?
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Let's go. Come on. Stop fucking sniffing. Let's go. God damn it. Get in the house.
He doesn't speak English. He doesn't know.
And since I got his haircut, the collar is too loose. So if I go to pull and he stops, it just slides right off. And then I start walking towards him. He takes off running. And I'm like, God damn it, Frank, get back here. I wish I could put the camera and zoom in on how he is laying. I don't know if you could see him, but he is plopped down hair in his
Oh
face,
yeah,
just tongue out. He is unbothered. He's just vibing right there.
he's just hanging out by that window.
Yeah,
Animals love windows. They love the sun.
he's dreaming of the time he gets to go outside, and then he tries to squeeze in an hour worth of activity into the 10 minutes I try to take him outside. Especially these days, because when I come home and take him out, I'm usually getting ready to do something, and I can't leave people waiting.
Mm-hmm.
So he might not actually be getting enough exercise. I don't know if I'm a good dog owner anymore.
What are you doing with him this weekend?
I'm just taking him with me.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not taking Frank to Detroit.
Yeah. Motown. He got to walk the mean streets of Indianapolis a handful of years, I guess a decade ago now. Fuck.
The mean streets of Indianapolis.
Yeah. Indianapolis is mean too.
What's your favorite Midwestern city?
Cincinnati.
It's a weird one.
Actually, I like Columbus. Columbus was a nice city.
Columbus?
Yeah.
I thought Columbus was pretty forgettable.
I don't know. I haven't been to many Midwest cities. I guess I've been to Sioux Falls, Iowa. I've been to Lincoln, Nebraska. Just flew in there and then went to Sioux Falls, Iowa. I didn't really like Sioux Falls either.
Probably not much going on there, I would guess.
No, I went to watch a women's NIA. What is it? NIA? NAIA. Yeah, NAIA women's basketball tournaments. Speaking of March Madness.
Yeah.
You could cut the tension in there with a knife. I spent some Indianapolis. I've been in Indianapolis a couple of times. It was good enough. It was a solid city. Cincinnati, Columbus. Is there anything I'm missing?
Chicago, but you haven't been there.
Never been.
It's kind of the one good city, though. I feel like the Midwest.
Is that your favorite?
Yeah, oh yeah. When I drove through Indianapolis, I couldn't even believe it was a city. I was like, because it just comes out of nowhere. Like it's just cornfields all around it. I didn't even feel like there were any suburbs. I didn't feel like I was getting close to a city. Because I was taking the interstate from Nashville to Chicago, so I guess coming up that route up 65, and I was all of a sudden there's like one really big building, and it was like it didn't belong there. That's what
I guess
it felt
Nashville.
Like to me.
Nashville's probably my favorite Midwestern city.
Is that a Midwestern city?
Getting closer and closer to one.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just kind of cold and dark. Kind of feels like a Midwestern city right now.
Do you see they found that Radley Strain boy in the river?
I told my mom that's what happened. My mom got really into that story. She had a whole conspiracy. I guess she's like in certain Facebook groups or whatnot, but they had her convinced that Nashville bartenders and workers are in this trafficking ring where they are drugging patrons, and then if they're women, maybe some little sex trafficking, but if they're men, they're organ trafficking. They are harvesting their organs and selling them. That's what she thought had happened.
Okay, well
And I was like, I think he just got drunk and fell into a river, or maybe got his ass beat. I was like, I know a couple of those bouncers in Nashville beat a guy to death a couple of years ago, so like, maybe something like that happened. Nope. Seems as if he just got drunk and fell into the river.
I don't know which one of those stories seems more likely.
Oh, you don't think he got drunk and fell into the river?
Well, I mean, you said the Nashville bartenders could be organ trafficking. I mean, that seems realistic, so it's hard to say, right?
A lot of tourism, baby. A lot of tourism comes into Nashville now.
Yeah. Organ trafficking. I've never even heard of that. The only organ trafficking I knew of was on the Oregon Trail where all those people got dysentery back in the day.
No, you've heard of people having their kidneys stolen and shit. You've heard of that. People waking up in a tub of ice with their kidney missing.
Oh, is that what that is? That doesn't really happen, though, does it?
Yeah, the fuck yeah, it does. The fuck yeah, it does. You come home, a woman brings you home, you're in a big city, you're like, oh man, I can't believe I'm about to have sex. It feels so good. Oh wait, I'm feeling a little woozy here. You'll wake up in a tub of ice with a note that says, thanks for the kidney. and they've got it and they've sold it on the black market for $80,000.
I highly doubt they leave a note that says
No,
thanks
leave
for
a
the
note.
kidney.
Don't worry, you're stitched up. Nothing to worry about. Thanks for the kidney. XOXO.
Well, that's like a good organ trafficker, like a friendly organ trafficker.
Yeah.
Yeah, they leave a note, but most of them just take the organs out. I feel like.
But you can't take both kidneys because then they die. Then you're a murderer. But if you take one kidney, there's not much you can do about it.
Well, sticking with the mid-state, let's go ahead and turn the page here, as Bob Seger once said. The Laverne cop, who you said I was attracted to, which is
who
not
you
really.
You said you were attracted to.
She got $500 million.
Are you sure? I thought the story was $500,000.
Yeah, it's $500,000. She blamed others for her actions. Did you see?
So she got to have a bunch of sex and then get paid $500,000 for it?
$500,000. Yeah, $500,000.
Did the guys who had to have sex with her, did they get any money out of it?
I don't think so. I think they, but it's just so weird how she got money and like I mean, I don't know the whole situation. Maybe she said she was groomed. I believe they call it sexually groomed. And that her whole role, like her lawyer said that her whole role in the police department was just to be like for lack of a better term, a fuck doll for the other officers. So I don't know. I mean, I guess they had to show some semblance of proof to get that money, right?
No, not really. They just had to. Well, I mean, if you sue somebody and you don't want to go to court, a lot of times you can just get paid. Because if you are the city of Laverne or whatever, do you really want all your cops up there testifying? Do you really want to go through all these text messages and see what was said? Probably not. And I don't know. Maybe they went to trial. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I'm just saying. But like, there are plenty of times you could sue somebody, and there's like, you know what? Let's just settle out of court. We don't have to do this. Here's our offer. You're suing us for $5 million. How about we give you $500,000? We go on about our business. And if you're that woman, you're like, yeah, cool, $500,000, great. Because like the civil cases, of course, you don't have to have near the same burden of proof or whatever as criminal cases. Criminal cases, let's say you have 9 jurors or whatever, 12 jurors, however many. Like all of them have to agree in a criminal case. Civil case is just 50%, and like it's 50% of like it's more likely than not that it happened. I believe is like what the standard is there. Like OJ didn't get found guilty in the court, like when it came to like actual like criminal charges, but then turned around the civil thing. He was like, "Yep, close enough. He did it. He owes all this money to these people."
It said that she was delivering oral sex to many of her coworkers on the job.
Just a little head?
On the job, she was doing it. I mean, how do you argue? I don't really get that. Like, if you're the one that's delivering the oral sex, how do you blame others for that? You know, I mean, that requires the opening of your mouth. Am I being a victim blamer? Is that problematic? Am I not supposed to say that?
You are not buying into the movement that was the Me Too movement. You're not buying into it. You think, well, if they didn't want to do it, they didn't have to do it. Nobody forced her. Whereas she would say, I had no choice if I wanted to keep my job or I wanted to, not face repercussions or be demoted or whatever. I was pressured. That's the thing.
I don't know, man. It's a complicated world we live in these days, you know. She said she was pressured.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a reasonable expectation to be a woman at work and to not feel pressured to have to go around sexing people. I don't know what was happening there.
Did she consider just saying no?
She probably could have. Who knows if she did? Who knows if she didn't? Again, the city deemed it not worthy of going to court and fighting it, so there had to be something weird going on.
I mean, she got her bag, you know. How many cops do you have to blow for $500,000? Apparently several.
How many would you blow for $500,000?
How many cops for
Yeah.
$500,000?
Yeah.
Are they good looking cops?
We'll say they're above average.
I don't know. 500.
Not dirty.
I mean, I don't have a number in my mind, but I could definitely use 500 grand.
5?
That's one dick per 100,000. Do they have to go to completion?
Yep.
Shit.
You don't have to take it, but you got to finish the job.
Well, if you finish the job, that's part of the. Yeah, I mean, you got to take it, don't you? I don't know.
No, you can move your head. You never had somebody just move their head.
No.
And that's the thing.
Oh, they finish.
I mean, if you want to do, hey, if you want them to like you more, then yeah, go for it. If you want to really finish the job, I guess.
If you want to get promoted on the force.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're only 95% of the way done in my scenario, but.
I don't know. What's your number?
I wouldn't sell my innocence for that.
Yeah, I knew you'd say that.
Not for $500,000.
Somebody hands you a briefcase for $500,000. You're probably gonna at least blow one dude. I mean, it's just you got to be realistic, you know. In today's world, it's a tough economy.
Yeah, but do I have to go back to work with them like this woman did? Because I don't know. I don't want to be the one that's getting groomed and made fun of and dogged out in the group text. If you told me it was just if you just told me it was discreet and professional, yeah, sure. But I couldn't be my peers that I have to hang out with every day.
Discreet and professional, like a modern day whorehouse.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, that bar that I was in Saturday used to be a brothel. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you were just sitting there drinking. Actually, you were sitting there sober, not drinking, in a place where just there had been so much cum and semen just spread out throughout its history.
It was upstairs.
You were just sitting there in a room of cum, sober, just wallowing in the cum. Nice.
I think they cleaned the place. I mean, it was a brothel like in the 20s. I feel like that's a pretty good long time ago, right?
That's a lot. That's a lot of semen that's been spilled over 100 years.
I don't think it was just getting all over the walls and stuff. I mean,
the demons, the spirits from those dead babies were just all over there. You could feel it. It was a heavy place.
That's actually another thing. They said the place was maybe haunted. So it's possible. KFC has a pizza now.
Pass.
It's just like a piece of chicken with sauce and cheese and pepperoni on top. I saw the commercial and I thought, man, this is very American. It's the most it's the most American thing I can think of since Hardee's had the July 4th burger.
That was the one with the chips and hot dog on it, right?
Yeah, it had a hot dog and Lay's potato chips on top of it. I feel like KFC's trying to give them a run for their money, making a
I'll
pizza.
I'll give KFC
chicken.
credit. They're trying to evolve and adapt and find all these things to make people talk about them to because I don't think anybody's actually eating this stuff, right? But at least it's like, hey,
people are going to eat it.
Hey, we put out this crazy, wacky food, and you guys will talk about us, and it'll be like free promotion. Hey, we're gonna write romance novels where Colonel Sanders is out here fucking these hoes, and you guys will talk about that too. And that was a thing a couple years ago where they were doing romance novels and trying to do like an answer to 50 Shades of Grey. It is all for promotion. So I'll give the people at KFC their props and their free promotion here. Just make good tenders though, man. Just keep giving me that slaw and I'll be happy. I don't need no goddamn pizza.
Well,
no chicken pizza, no thanks.
They used to not even have tenders. Used to just be fried chicken. That's why I think all these places, the reason they're not as good as they were back in the day is because they expanded too much. Any place that's got an expansive menu tends to not be good, as I maintain that if the menu's too big, the place is not there. Unless it's the Marietta Diner right outside Atlanta, Georgia. One of my favorite restaurants of all time. They've got a massive menu, and everything I had there was delicious. So, speaking of tasty snacks, did you see
Jack of all trades, master of none is what it's called.
I think that was a Metallica song.
You don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be that. So, like you're saying, shorten the menu. Just become a master of 5 things.
Maybe
rather than trying to sell us 50 things.
Master of Puppets is what I was thinking of. The Metallica. Yeah. They covered Bob Seger's Turn the Page. They did a pretty good cover of it, too. Did you like Metallica? Probably not. No, you didn't seem like a Metallica guy.
I liked Enter Sandman, and I liked their version of Turn the Page, but we are team fuck Napster on this side. I blew it. Team Metallica on this side because of what they did to Napster.
Oh, okay.
That's what I think of when I think of Metallica. I think of Enter Sandman. Now I think of the Stranger Things little scene where that guy somehow has electricity out in the underworld, and he's able to play his little guitar somehow in a place that's like dark and doesn't seem like it would have electricity. I don't really know how he plugged up his amp and got all that working. But I think of that, and then I think of them, taking down Napster and really starting the whole illegal download movement. Are you familiar with that at all? Were you old enough for that?
I was around during LiveWire.
But not Napster. Napster was the first version of that. And it was kind of crazy because it was like just a normal legal place. It was like, oh, wow, this new website. It's so cool. You can get all these songs for free. And then, all the artists were like, oh, no, the fuck you can't. And like Napster led that charge and basically it said it was like copyright infringement and stealing and all that. And they were the face of that. And, me as a preteen really fucking hated them for it. But, it makes sense, obviously, not to let people just have your stuff for free.
Was it LiveWire or LimeWire?
Because there were both, but LimeWire is the one you're thinking of.
I always got it confused because at the same time Mountain Dew had that orange drink, and I think it was called LiveWire. You remember that? Did you ever drink that?
Yeah, I'm sure I tried it. There were a couple of different sites that did it, but LimeWire is the one that was like the popular one. It's the one that crashed everybody's computer and everything.
Where'd you stand on Code Red, Mountain Dew? Did you like Code Red, or you just stuck with the regular?
I don't think I liked Code Red at all. And then it had a very bad stereotype. There was a stigma around the Code Red. You didn't want to be the Code Red boy. Code Red boy was the weirdo, the gamer.
It's like being the Cool Ranch Doritos boy. Like
I don't mind Cool Ranch Doritos when I go get my sandwiches, but yeah, my brother was the Cool Ranch guy, and I thought that was weird actually growing up.
Well, I feel like Code Red is to Mountain Dew what Cool Ranch is to Doritos. It's like the knockoff. It's like the second class version.
It doesn't feel that extreme to me. It'd be more like the purple Doritos they tried to bring out, but
I like those. Do you remember when they had the purple ketchup and purple and green ketchup?
Yeah,
that was badass, wasn't it?
No, even as a kid, I hated that. I hated it so much because my sister loved it, and it grossed me out. I didn't like it. The green just looked disgusting to me. It looked like boogers. The purple just looked like something we shouldn't be eating. I hated it as a kid.
Speaking of tasty snacks, did you see the California man who was eating the severed leg on the roadside?
No.
Somewhere up around Bakersfield, I think, which you'd probably guess this was an L.A. story, but it was actually out in kind of the middle of nowhere, California, small town California, up around Bakersfield. This guy was on the side of the road eating a man's severed leg. And you may be asking, how did he get a leg? How did he get a man's severed leg? Well, apparently, earlier that day, a pedestrian was struck by an Amtrak train. And one of the legs was severed. And this homeless man, I assume he's homeless. I mean, maybe I shouldn't assume that. This could have been just a local banker. But this man somehow or another retrieved the dead pedestrian's severed leg from the Amtrak station and decided to have himself a human drumstick.
Do we know if the person that got hit by a train was trying to kill themselves?
That I don't know, but I do know that he died.
Because to me, that's the more fascinating part of the story. How the hell you
Really?
just get hit? Yeah, just how the hell do you get hit by a train unless you're doing it on purpose? And if you are doing it on purpose, you probably don't care that somebody's eating your leg. Like, I understand, like, if you're in your car trying to, like, go really fast and pull a Dom Toretto and try to go over the train tracks and get hits or, just maybe get clipped trying to go across it. But to be on foot and get hit by a train, it's got to be intentional.
So you're saying because the guy didn't care that the homeless man was eating his leg, that maybe it shouldn't be a crime?
Yeah. Now, if this
So,
homeless person
so
killed the
you're
person,
also pro necrophilia then?
no. How do you make that connection?
Well, because you say that if someone's already dead, it doesn't matter.
From what I've seen in pop culture and what I've seen in the news and documentaries and I've heard, homeless people be fucking. They don't have problems having sex. They go under boardwalks, down on the beach.
God,
They
imagine the smell.
under the
Jesus.
bridge. I've seen plenty of people down in Knoxville having sex under the bridge. What they need is nutritious food. That's what they need.
What they need is a job. How much? How much
A
money?
job in a shower, and not in that order.
How much money to blow a homeless guy?
No amount. Okay, well that's not true. $1 billion.
You do it for $1 billion? If you do it for $1 billion, I'm gonna guess you do it for $500 million.
Yeah, I'd do it for $500 million.
And if you do it for $500 million, you might do it for $250 million.
If the cash was there, maybe for $250 million.
And if you do it for $250 million, you'd probably do it for $100 million because that's life-changing money still.
Can we put like a washcloth over him at first? Can we wipe him down a little bit?
Absolutely not.
I'm getting okay, sure, yeah, $125 million.
You know the feeling of when you eat like a potato that hasn't been cleaned properly and you get dirt? The feeling of dirt in your mouth?
No, I don't know that feeling.
Well,
I can't say I do.
Well, for some reason or another in your life, you've had dirt in your mouth, right? Like, you know that feeling. I've just noticed it with potatoes. Like if a restaurant doesn't do their due diligence in cleaning the dirt off the potatoes, I've had dirt in my mouth before.
You've been at restaurants and eaten a dirty potato to the point where you had dirt in your mouth?
I could feel and taste the grittiness of the dirt in mashed potatoes too, nonetheless, which I prefer my mashed potatoes to be peeled. I'm not one. I don't need all the fiber in peel my fucking potatoes.
I like a little peel in my potatoes, actually.
I have no use for the brown because it's hard to get all the dirt out of that brown potato peel, I think.
Okay.
But anyway, you know the feeling of dirt in your mouth for some reason. Maybe you're riding four-wheelers and the wind.
Yeah, I've had dirt. I've had dirt in my mouth before.
That's what it's like blowing a homeless guy.
How would you know that?
It's an assumption. Wouldn't you think he'd have a dirty old dick?
It's a gross thought. Let's move on. It's a gross thought. But yeah, 125 million just right in front of me. I would probably do it.
Yeah. So
I'd throw up though. If I had to do it without throwing up, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, I mean you can throw up. That's part of the deal.
Can he be clean? Because if he's gonna have diseases, I probably wouldn't. I don't think I would take mouth herpes from a homeless man's penis for like $125 million. I really don't think I would.
Well, yeah, he's got herpes. He's homeless.
Well, then no, I really don't think I would do it.
All right, how much for the herpes too?
No, I really don't think I would. I don't want to say like I'm not anywhere near you when it comes to germophobia or anything like that, but I don't want to be sick and I don't want something I got to deal with. I'm good. I really don't think I would.
Okay, what's the lowest amount you'd do it for no herpes? 2 million?
Am I allowed to throw up?
Yeah, you can throw up, but you got to swallow.
Let's move on.
All right. So 75,000. Well, do you have any other thoughts on the man eating the severed leg? Because I thought it was fascinating.
I mean, I would like to know what he was thinking, but if he was a
Yeah,
homeless man, I'm going to assume he was just hungry. Some
yeah.
people don't. Some people don't waste food, man. Some people don't. Some people don't waste meat.
I mean, you got a dumpster dive, don't you? Like, go behind a restaurant, man.
There's some good meat on some thighs, man. There's some good meat. Some people like that. Some people like the taste of human flesh.
Yeah, clearly. I would at least cook it first. I
He's
wouldn't want it.
homeless over what, a fire? I mean, I guess he could put over a fire, but
You can make a fire.
so are you telling me that he was just walking around with a leg, just gnawing on it?
Yeah, apparently on the side of the road.
I mean, that visual is a little fucked up, but
Yeah,
for some people that are hungry, they would do it. You hear about those stories all the time of plane crashes and there not being any food out there. That's what's happening to this guy.
well, they arrested him, so yet
Well,
another guy just out trying to enjoy his day, going to the slammer, and we
well,
gotta
you know, if he was hungry, now at least he's going to get some hot meals.
yeah,
You do get fed in prison, so
that's true. That's true. So you, if we make the final four, I've been thinking about this because I told you I'll be in Knoxville. My flight out is Monday.
okay.
If for some reason we were to make the national championship game, I think I'd have to just cancel my flight and figure it out.
Just
You
stay an
know?
extra week.
Yeah, well, I'd have to at least stay some extra time because I would not be traveling on an airplane when we're playing for a national title. I mean, I know that's, you still got some games to win before that happens, but
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to miss you that week when you're in because
it's okay.
I'll
It's
either be in
okay.
Phoenix or Philadelphia.
Someday you'll accompany me, as Bob Seger once said.
I'm balled up. What can I say?
Detroit and Phoenix, two
The
of
flight-
America's great cities.
The flight to Detroit really was an amount that made me sick to pay. It
Really?
honestly did. Yeah.
To go to Detroit,
Yeah, from Knoxville. Yeah.
you're flying direct.
Yeah, but even the flights that had connectors were even more expensive, strangely enough.
I assume you checked into flying out of Atlanta.
Yeah, it was going to
Nashville?
be like it was going to be like $150 cheaper, but it wasn't worth the traveling.
Driving down, yeah.
I mean, if it was like $400 cheaper or something like that, maybe. But it was $700 for a flight from Knoxville to Detroit.
My goodness.
Yeah, like I thought about just driving, and maybe I should have, but I just decided I didn't want to spend 8 hours in a car either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Detroit's not that bad of a drive.
It's only 8 hours. I might have should have done that, but I didn't have anybody that wanted to ride with me. I didn't want to drive by myself for 8 hours.
Didn't want to be alone with your thoughts for that long.
No, I have no problem with that. It's just really I didn't want to just be responsible for it all, and also this was like a bad time to have like an electric car. Having an electric car and having to go across country isn't great because like really that 8 hours is going to be like 10 hours by the time you have to stop and charge twice.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, because you can
Whatever
get about
happened to gas-powered?
you can get about 3 or 3.5 hours on a charge.
You'd think Elon would have figured out something better by now.
I mean, they're fast. I mean, you can get there like I said, like a 40-minute thing. It's just I didn't feel like dealing with it.
I drove
And the part of the idea of driving home after a loss just
pain.
pain. Yeah, that's one of the worst moments of my life was driving back from Kansas City after the Titans lost in the AFC Championship and just driving 8 hours in silence to Nashville. That was a shitty feeling.
Was the radio not working, or?
Well, when I say silence, I just mean we didn't talk. But yeah, worse enough. Like one of the passengers wanted to listen to stand-up comedy on the way for like 4 of the hours. So we listened to various stand-up comedy.
Who were the comedians?
There was some Kevin Hart. There was some Mitch Hedberg. There was just some other random people. I don't know. It was just a comedy channel. It wasn't like somebody's like full album. It would be like a 10-minute joke followed by somebody else's 10-minute joke. And I gotta be honest, wasn't the mood to laugh.
It was like the Sirius XM comedy channel.
Yeah, but it was like a Spotify version of it where you can just put a playlist on, I believe is what it was.
Oh, okay.
And then about once every 45 minutes, somebody would let out a, God damn it, I can't believe we lost, or this is fucking stupid that we came.
Yeah. I mean, that's the risk of going to, like, the payoff obviously is if you get to celebrate your team going to the Final Four, but most likely we're gonna lose this weekend, right? Like, just
Let me say most likely, so like more than 50% likely. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
sure,
either in
sure.
the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight, so
Yeah,
you kind of know what you're signing up for. Like, the odds are not in our favor of getting to the Sweet 16 or to the Final Four, but like,
I just think it would be cool to look back on it 10, 15, 20 years from now and be like, I was there.
yeah, of course,
Like
FOMO.
I always get so jealous of the people that were like, "Oh yeah, I was at the national championship when Tennessee won," or "Oh yeah, I was at this playoff game. I was at the Music City Miracle." Blah blah blah. Like that stuff makes me jealous. So I want to be there to tell the kids that I don't have that I did things like that.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a cool story. Even cooler to tell them about Phoenix.
I watched Kevin Durant play basketball. I went and saw the new Sydney Sweeney movie.
Oh yeah, does she get naked?
No. No, she doesn't. She plays a nun.
Oh God.
She plays a nun. It's a scary movie. She is a nun that is brought in from America to Italy and is in this, I guess this, what do they call it? The convents or whatever? Covenant? What do they call it? What
I
is it?
have, I
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea.
A
I'm not
church, a monastery.
Catholic.
Basically just a whole, a place with nuns and a priest.
Hmm.
And it's pretty gory. I mean, she's obviously the lead actress in it. It's probably the best she's ever acted, but she does still find a way to make it sexy, I will say. She obviously knows what she's doing. So there's a scene where one of the girls is bathing her in the bath,
Oh yeah.
and like the girl above her, like they have to wear like all white because like they can't be naked because they're nuns, but like the girl sitting above her, you could just clearly see through it and see her titties, and you keep waiting for Sydney to poke just enough up, and she never gives you that shot. But then later on,
Oh.
she's like walking. Later on, she's walking like in her loose clothing, and definitely just like her just titties are out with no bra and like nipples and stuff, but never just all the way out. And then in the water, she comes so close to poking up just enough, but never does. But
What a tease.
yeah, I don't want to give any spoiler alerts, I guess, in case anyone wants
I
to
don't
watch it.
I don't think anybody's gonna watch that.
Immaculate. It did pretty good numbers at the box office, all things considered. But people love Sydney Sweeney, which I found it interesting just because of the timing of her being kind of like, I don't want to say America's sweetheart, because I don't think anybody thinks of her as a sweetheart. Maybe America's dirty little slut or something
Yeah.
like that.
There
But
you
like,
go.
kind of the sex symbol right now in American culture. And then all of a sudden she's in this scary movie and doing some really weird shit in it. So I thought it was a fascinating timing decision for her.
Yeah. Well,
Which
she
obviously the
is.
movie's been out for a while or been in works for a while. So I think the rest of the timing is just kind of coincidental. But she's like the lead producer on it and everything. So it's like kind of her movie.
Sydney Sweeney, boy, she's something, isn't she? I'd like to see her strut.
You would. And you came close. Like I said, she's in the water right here. And then cut scenes.
Her
Cut
strut.
scenes. You can see my nipple.
Yeah, that's another Bob Seger song. Her strut. Do you think?
I don't know any Bob Seger
I
songs.
like that Sydney Sweeney's white and blonde. Do you think that has to do also with the Radley Strain case, the kid that went missing in Nashville? The fact that he's an affluent middle class white blonde kid.
I had no clue what he looked like.
Because normally it's girls, that's the thing. But
Well, I do think it was different just because I do think him being a guy probably made it a little bit different, but it made it more just like curious versus like panic. If a white girl, or really any girl, but mostly a white girl, got kidnapped or disappeared in Nashville, it would be headline news, and people would be talking about sex trafficking and all that. But like in this instance, like you're like, man, this kid wasn't just there for the old time rock and roll. Like he was there with his friends, and then all of a sudden, like, disappeared. Where the hell did he go? And I just wonder how his friends feel. I feel bad for them.
Yeah,
like
probably
they were
feel
just
terrible.
Yeah, I mean, like they were too focused on staying in the bar and trying to make some night moves versus like taking care of their friend. Like
We already did that one.
the friend, was there, and like they could have taken and made sure he got home and went back to the bar, and things would have, still been the same. And instead, they
Instead, they what? Please
instead
continue.
they just like apparently nobody like left with him, and like he just whatever happened to him happened. Like I don't know. If he
Yeah.
just got drunk and fell into a river, or somebody stabbed him and robbed him and threw him in the river. I don't know.
Well,
But like the
yeah.
friends were too worried about it, and just they wanted those like Hollywood nights while being in Nashville. It just
Well, you know what they say, rock and roll never forgets. So it's a Bob Seger song.
got really stuck in no man's land.
Yeah, that's a good one too. He did get stuck in no man's land, and they found his wallet on the side of the river, which was a weird thing. But I'm trying to.
Well, that's why I wonder if somebody like stabbed him and threw him in the river or something like that. That's why I wonder if somebody robbed him and just took care of him. Like it does seem weird that I'm not gonna act like I've read enough of the stories. Like if something really, I mean, like I'm just piecing it together through what my mother has said and the headlines I've seen. But I do think, to me, the thing is just like feel like the friends, that's going to be tough for them to live with.
Oh yeah, they're never going to be the same. They'll remember this weekend in Nashville for sure.
Those lights were shining brightly and they couldn't get away, and like it's just like, hey, Betty Lou's getting out tonight. Here we are. We are going to.
There's nothing to joke about. The kid lost his life, and he was white and affluent. And could you imagine if the kid was like a Haitian migrant, though? Like they would have never. It would have never been a story. No one would have even mentioned it.
No, but talk about the Boomtown Blues.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else?
No, I don't have anything else. Just looking forward to another good week here. Are we? Friday is the basketball game. Are we podcasting Thursday, or you need to take the day off?
No, I should be able to podcast. I'm not leaving till Friday morning.
Okay. Well, we'll plan on Thursday then.
Yep, Thursday should be able to podcast, and then hopefully I can take a little nap ski or get to bed early because I don't really want to be drained because the tip-off's not till 10 o'clock. So my flight's at 5:30. I do have pre-check, but you still probably need to be there at least by like 4:45, 5 o'clock. So, yeah, I'm just going to get out, and they'll roll me away, and I'll get in there. And
That's a good one if you haven't heard it. Yeah. Well, it all comes down to the big game against Creighton, late start time, but the boys will be getting ready to play, and they'll say to each other in the locker room, "We've got tonight. We've got tonight, boys."
And if we lose, I'll say, "Ain't got no money."
Yeah.
On the way out.
I don't know that one, but
the famous final scene.
So,
whenever the confetti drops. Anyways, I'm out of Bob Seger songs.
You'll be burning in Fire Lake.
That's how you bring the story full circle.
Yep.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.